Alright, the Oscars were on tonight, but instead of watching them, I decided to watch The Ten Commandments. So The Ten Commandments came out in 1956. It was directed by Cecil B. DeMillis, if I'm reading that off right. Quote down below if I got it wrong or something. But anyway, The Ten Commandments is now considered to be one of the best films ever made, and also the best biblical film ever made. Now, I've seen a lot of biblical films in my time. I've seen the stories of David. I've seen stories of Adam and Eve. I've seen stories of Jesus. All that such. How is this one the best biblical film ever made? And I'm going to say it right now. It's there because it's an absolute masterpiece. I mean, everything about this movie is large in scale. The visual effects are incredible. The size of the whole thing is just absolutely works. Because usually when it comes to stories like this, they have small groups of people, especially in the 1950s or 40s. There's small groups of people to make it look like it was really massive. No, this looks like large areas where a lot of people that are slaves dragging around these heavy stoneworks and everything. This movie has a lot of that. It is massive in its scale, but also it has a way of, how do I describe this? When there is something in a movie that you should be looking at, and even though there's a lot of stuff around it, this movie does a really great job of catching your focus in the spot where it wants you to see. Like, for example, Moses could be up here on top of a mountain, and down here there's all these people below and whatnot. The movie basically makes that focus on him so that we all know exactly what is going on. There's a lot of that in this movie, and it looks like it was not just directed by somebody who wanted to make money off of the biblical story and everything. This looks like it was made by somebody who loves this story. Everything about this story, I am just in awe with the look of it. Charlton Heston plays Moses in this movie, and well, before Marlon Brando took over the screen as the best actor who ever lived, there was Charlton Heston, next to Jamie Stewart, of course. But anyway, he plays Moses in this movie, and I absolutely adore the way he portrays the character. In the very beginning of the movie, he is the Prince of Egypt. Everyone expects the best of him and everything. And when he gets involved with the Hebrew lifestyle, he's thinking, why does God allow this? Why does God allow that? He has all these questions. And then he speaks to God for the very first time, and you can just see that glow on his face. And just the majesty of what he just witnessed. His hair is different for sure. At one point, it's just dark brown hair, and then it just goes all gray and white. It just looks like he saw something magnificent, something out of this world. And I really like seeing that. But also I like the transition of what the character he used to be to the character that we all know and love today. Because he's a guy that would ask questions in the very beginning. He is lost in the dark. Now he is this different man, and he is not afraid of anything anymore. And he doesn't take questions that he already knows the answer to. In the very beginning of this movie, he's really confused about this whole situation. If God really loves these people, why are they still in chains? That was one of the big things he asked. And later on in the movie, when after the 10 plagues have already hit, there are still people in the Hebrew crowd that are still asking questions. Why are we here? Are we just here to die? And Moses is like, 10 times he has just shown you that he exists, and still you doubt him. It's a massive change in character, and it's perfectly portrayed in this movie. I can't describe how much I really love this movie. Even the character of the Pharaoh, played by Yul Brynner in this movie, is played out very well as well. In The Prince of Egypt, the Ramses and Moses are considered brothers. They get along with each other, and with the events that are happening in the movie, they want things to go back to normal, but they know they can't and everything. That's the great thing about The Prince of Egypt. In this one, Moses and Ramses are not really brothers. Actually, Moses was found by the Pharaoh's sister. And there was a conflict in the very beginning on who takes the throne of Egypt. I mean, granted, Ramses is the son of the Pharaoh, but Moses was found in the water, and according to the sister, he was gifted by the gods. I mean, granted, the Pharaoh's sister knows exactly where he came from. She just made up this whole story about him just so she can keep him. That is love right there, and the movie does bring out that in this movie. So when the story comes out that he is a Hebrew, well, let's just say the story goes on the way we all know it is. And what is also really great about this movie is that not only the characters of Pharaoh and Moses portrayed really well, but they also add in so many other characters as well. I mean, the Pharaoh's wife, who is in love with Moses, wants this, that, and the other thing, brings out a statement in this movie where I'm thinking, that could work. However, if anyone knows anything about history, is that if it did go down that way, things would just go back the way it used to be. I'm not going to spoil that for you. You're going to have to watch the movie to find that out. But it's a really good scene and does make you question what could or could not have been. So, given her a whole lot of character, I really did like. I mean, granted, the romance right there does not work for me because that's not exactly the story I was told, but it was added in probably just for that one scene alone. You'll know exactly what it is when you see it. But also, they expand on Zipporah's character, Moses' wife. They bring her up. She's not exactly as classy as her sisters. She's responsible. She is the eldest of them all, and is the reason why Moses is really attracted to her. So all these side characters are really well played out. There's even character in the Egyptian that Moses kills. Yeah, we all know that he kills someone. It's one of the big statements of his story. There is character in that character as well, but one character that definitely does stand out of the whole thing, if he did not stand out, the story would probably not work, and that is God. God is done so well in this movie. Granted, God is different in this movie than he was in The Prince of Egypt. In The Prince of Egypt, you can see the kind-heartedness. You can hear the kindness in his voice, the mercy in his voice. This movie, it's different. He has the commanding voice. It's low-toned, but it's noticeable. It is out there. It really does feel like someone with power is talking to you. So there's a different version of it, but I did love the fact that they played it out the way they did. He is supposed to be commanding. He is the Lord above us all, and whatever he says goes, and that is the state of mind that Moses has for the rest of the movie. I mean, there are several moments where you can tell someone is whispering in his ear, telling him what to say and what to do while in front of the Pharaoh, and he says it without hesitation. That's one of the most brilliant forms of work I could possibly think out of a movie, but out of the story as well. For me, it's historical. What I believe in is all this did happen, and it does feel real. Granted, the visual effects are a little bit outdated, but it does feel real. Whatever you believe in is fine. This is just my opinion on this stuff. For you, it could just be a fun movie. It could be a masterful classic behind it all, and an excellent piece of work. And that's fine. And that's your opinion. That's fine. And I go with that. But for what I could say for the Ten Commandments, it doesn't feel like a movie that was just made to make money. It feels like it was made by someone who loves the story, who respects the story, and that's why the Ten Commandments is legendary. I find this movie a whole lot better than The Prince of Egypt. If you are fans of The Prince of Egypt, it may not change your mind, but you'll still love it nonetheless. It's basically the same story. So, guys, the Ten Commandments, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Comment below, and I'll see you in the next video.